Hello, welcome back to the Hitch to the Stitch podcast. My name is Zoe and I am a maker from Melbourne, Australia. And today I'm going to do a wrap up of everything that I've made in 2025. When I was looking back at all the things that I'd made, I was a bit surprised there was a couple things I was surprised by. So I've got the stats of everything that I've made this year. It's not as many as I thought there would be for how much I was knitting, and I did actually a fair bit more sewing than I expected this year. So I've got both to talk about today. All in all, I made 14 things. There was 4 garments for myself and 10 it's accessories or other. And out of those 14 things, the garments were all for me, but everything else was gifts, and I was a bit surprised by that. It's a good thing, it's not a bad thing, but I just was a little bit surprised that I'd actually made so many gifts this year. And out of all of the 14, 6 were free patterns or self-drafted. So I'm wearing my first finished object today. I'll put a cut in of all of the clothes that I'm wearing. Most of the gifts have already obviously been given away, so I don't have those, but I'll share the photos that I have. So, and then I'll wrap up the video as well with things that I would like to do for this year, 2026. There's a few goals that I have. Actually, I may as well just start with that now. So, something that I made at the end of 2024 was a color work sweater. Now, I really loved wearing that actually, and I would like to make a few more color work pieces. That being said, at the same time, I would like to work through the yarn stash particularly, and my I don't want to buy any fabrics additional to what I already have. So I want to work through everything that I have at the moment, and I'm not sure how much color work I'll get to do. I think I'll get to do a little bit here and there, but in terms of making a garment, I might have to wait to do that and prioritize first. I think before I bring anything new in to make some more garments, I would like to make 3 garments or projects before I bring any yarn in for a new project. Another goal that I have this year is to do a little bit more sewing clothing and working through that, as well as quilting. At the end of last year, I got really into quilting and I was experimenting with that, which is why I've made so many quilting style gifts towards the ends of the year for Christmas presents. So quilting is going to be a focus. I've got another project already to make a friend. That is a late birthday present from December. I often do run behind with gift giving when I've made it. That's something I could improve on this year. So I'm going to make, she might watch this, I'm not going to say anything about that. But I have a gift to make her, and it does involve some quilting. And that's something I want to get done hopefully in February, as well as a few more dog jackets, which is one of the things that I made this year. I've been doing a little bit of dog sitting for colleagues or friends, so and I really like just making the dog something cute. So that was more of an experiment so far. The last goal that I have this year is actually to make my own pattern or self-draft a knitting pattern. Whether that means I turn it into a pattern, I'm not sure, but I would actually like to extend my skills and make something myself that I'm really inspired by, a particular design. I've got one in my head that I really want to make. So either it's going to be that one or maybe something else that I dip my toe into pattern making. And I don't know when that will be or if I'll get that done this year, but it is a goal. So without further ado, I'll go through all of the things that I made. There is going to be a bit of sewing and a bit of knitting. I just have them written down in roughly the order that I made them last year. So I'll put in cutout images or videos of me wearing the garments that I've made. So this is The first one, like I said, it's a pattern by Tropical Research. I've got my notes down here. And it's called the Puffy Dress pattern. So I have really enjoyed wearing this one. I made it in time for my Japan trip last year. And I don't know, it feels kind of like a Japanese inspired type of fabric. I got this many years ago from, it's a Canadian fabric store called Blackbird Fabrics, and I've been really loving it. I've actually worn this one a lot. It's very easy, it's very comfortable. I made another one in 2024 as well, so this is my second version. I wouldn't even mind making another one. I do really like this, and I think it's a really good pattern. I haven't made the dress. I'm not sure if I will make the dress, honestly. I really like it as a top. I am a bit concerned if I made it as a dress, it might be a bit overwhelming for me. But this is the first one, so I really recommend this. This is in a cotton fabric, which is, or I guess cottony, linen-y type, which works really well for it. It does tend to slip up sometimes, and it can get quite high on the chest, which means that where I've got it cropped, it can be quite high, so I just have to make sure I keep it down for work. The other version I made was in a more silky, satiny fabric, and that one slips up a lot more, but I would say they give off two very different vibes. This is much more relaxed and casual, I would say, and that one's a little bit nicer or more refined. I do really enjoy that one, actually. I think it probably suits it the best, but I do like this one as it is for a different style. So this is the first one. The second thing I made, I think I finished it in January or maybe February, is the Cumulus tee by Petiteknit. Now I did really enjoy the construction of this one. I hadn't done, I'm not sure what shoulder type it's actually called. Maybe I'll look that up. I think it might be contiguous, I'm not sure. But I did really enjoy how it was constructed, and I like a wide neckline. So this is really good. I did make it in the size medium because I wanted a relatively relaxed fit, and I didn't want it too close to my skin, I think, and I was really happy about that at the time. In hindsight now, I'm still really happy with the fit. I've got no issues with it, but I probably would have gone for the small to fit me just a little bit closer. There is a lot of positive ease, and I do wear it to work. I wear actually all of the things that I've made here to work, and I feel like maybe a slightly more fitted version, but still with some good positive ease, would have been the best choice. Now this is, I think it's a cotton bamboo. I don't remember the exact style of yarn. I know I got it from Spotlight, and any of their cotton bamboos I would actually really recommend. I've used them in a couple projects, and this one I just had a lot of white, so I made the Blouse number 1. Oh, is it, sorry, Cumulus tee. Oh, I'm talking about the wrong pattern. Okay, this is Blouse number 1 by MyFavouriteThings Knitwear. I will come to the Cumulus tee, but this is Blouse number 1. Sorry, I was talking about the wrong thing. But the arm's quite wide, as you can see there. So it's got a lot of space in between the body and the arm. And so I would, yeah, I think I'm perfectly happy with it. Would change it to a small, but I'm not sure if it's probably not a pattern that I am looking to make again. Not because it's anything wrong with it, I'd just rather try something different. Yeah, so that is that one there. I may as well go into the Cumulus tee by Petiteknit then. This one took months. It is such a fine, I think it's like almost a light fingering yarn that I used. It's BC Garn Jaipur silk, And I absolutely love the flow of this one. You can see how it has so much movement and drape, and I believe I actually finished this in time for Japan as well and got to wear this one. I really love it. I think this is something I would remake again, despite the 4 months of, I think, knitting effort that it took me to make. I'm not the fastest knitter, but I just love the feel of it so much. I think it's so wearable. It really goes with a lot. It's good for work, it's good casually, and it just feels beautiful in a silk. And I think if you've got a beautiful silk like this, it's definitely a project worth using. It's very flattering, and the drape is gorgeous with a light silk. So, I mean, Petiteknit patterns are known to be wonderful. It's just a raglan shaping, and then there's a, what's it called? Oh boy, I've forgotten what it's called. Anyway, again, I'll put its name on the screen. It's a technique, and it gives a really nice clean finish to the neckline, and I think it gives quite a professional look while still looking handmade. So yeah, highly recommend this pattern, especially in a very light fingering silk. I think that's a perfect fabric that it knits up to be. Something, actually, I've worn it quite a bit. I don't know if I've washed it actually. Maybe I've just air dried it. But something that did surprise me was the amount of, it might be hard to see, but there's like some light peeling, particularly on the front here. Don't know if you can see that. It's got a little bit fuzzy. That's not something I was expecting from the silk. It's not a big issue and it's not super noticeable, but I was a bit surprised that there was that, and maybe it was from wearing a crossbody bag or something and rubbing against the silk. But just something for me to keep in mind next time I make something like this. I really like with a sleeves finish. I might even go for a shorter sleeve or a long sleeve one next time. But that is the Cumulus tee by Petiteknit. So the next thing I've made is a baby onesie, which is a free pattern by Eve Tokens, and I will insert an image here. I think if you've got anyone in your life that you want to make something for, and you're a sewer, I'd really recommend this pattern. Like, it's very cute, or if you're having a baby yourself, it's a super cute pattern. I like that it has the open, like it's a crossover for the shoulders, so that there's no strain on the baby's head, and you don't have to worry about the head size of a particular baby, because it's basically all open up into the shoulders, and it just has that crossover to make it really easy to get over the head. And no pressure on the baby's head. So I think that's a really nice design detail, and it's free. You can't really beat that. Another reason why I liked this pattern was I was thinking of making some baby socks again, but a sewing project is a lot quicker, and that's why I'd recommend this pattern instead. Yeah, we can't make everything, so the next thing I made was also a gift. It was for my mum. It's a hot water bottle cover by Bolduan. Again, it was a free pattern. I'd really recommend it. It's a simple hot water bottle cover. It fit really well. And I used an additional pattern. I was kind of hunting for patterns based on the stitch count of the pattern. I then looked for so a cross stitch or color work pattern that I could work into the stitch count, and I found the one off of Pinterest, and I really liked how it worked up. I had some color changing yarn. That yarn I'd previously used for another project, but I wasn't liking how it was working up, so I scrapped that one and used it for this hot water bottle cover, and my mum really liked it, so that was successful as well. The next present was actually for my brother for his birthday. I use the pattern Hipster Hat by Petiteknit. It has a really nice, it comes into almost like a square. It's just a very nice finish at the top of the beanie. And something I wanted to make for him is his friends call him Crouchy based on our last name. And so I wanted to have like a cool patch on the front of a hat, you know how you've got Patagonia or something like that. So I wanted to knit in something that said Crouchy. So I knitted a rectangle and worked in the words in color work for Crouchy across his forehead, and he really likes it. So that was a good one. It's kind of hard to always think of something for your brother. Not always easy to gift for, and when I finally came up with this idea, I'm like, perfect, I can make a present for him that I think he'll actually use and wear a lot. And he didn't want anything with a bauble or a pom-pom at the top of his head, because his current beanie had a pom-pom and he just didn't love it. So I gave him a new beanie and he was very happy with that. The next thing I have to show you is another sewn garment. It's the last garment that I've made in 2025. A lot of the garments that I was working on for a really long time have either just finished up now in January or February, or I'll be finishing them up soon. So there's a lot of projects that have come into 2026, not so many that I was able to finish off before the end of the year. But this is a free pattern again. Highly, highly recommend this one. This is the Isla puff sleeve top by Tiana's Closet. And it's just a really nice, casual, super work friendly. I just think it's a really nice, and it's got these delicate bows on the front, which you can undo as well. It has this keyhole section here. And, you know, this top part, again, it's mirrored on the back, and then it comes into a gathered section for the body. Very easy to wear. I like the fabric. Not too much to say. I think I also got this fabric from Blackbird Fabric, and I've worn it a lot. Both of these shirts I wear a lot, and what I find is when I'm getting dressed, I kind of like to go towards the clothes that I've made. I've made a lot more tops than I have bottoms, or I've made some dresses, and I really gravitate towards wearing them. Yeah, so I would like to slowly build up my closet, have more of things that I've made myself. I'd say it's actually probably close to 30% handmade by me now, at least in the things that I commonly wear. So that is a motivator for making more things, and I think I find that it makes me want to purchase less, so that it sort of drives me to want to be more sustainable and thoughtful about my purchases. I don't tend to buy too many clothes anymore. I really like to wait until I can make something, and yeah, I get told I have 1,000 things that I want to make, and I'd need 3 lifetimes to make them, but you know, I'm always like, oh, I can make that. I go into a store and I'm like, oh, I can make that, no bother buying it. But yeah, so I feel like it's a lot more satisfying to wear something you've made. Maybe let me know in the comments if that's the same for you. And I mean, sweaters, it's very nice as well, to make your own sweaters, and people generally know me for making my own clothes now as well, so they're always asking, oh, did you make this one? Yeah, so it's a nice feeling. I think you can probably relate to that one. The last pieces that I've made, I think I've got 3 more unique ones, and then 2 that I've made 2 of each for presents. So these are all presents actually, and I made them towards the end of the year. So I made the Nomad slippers by Wool and Beyond for my friend Naz, and I think she likes them. She likes, we both like Japan and going to Japan and Japanese culture, and they have this kind of Japanese vibe about them, so I thought they would be perfect for her. And I would like to make my own at some point. Not sure if I'll do those exact slippers, or I really liked the honeycomb style stitch in the pattern. They're very nice. So I'll get a photo from her to share what they look like. The next thing I made was, I was doing some dog sitting for a colleague in December, a little Chihuahua. I'm usually a big dog person, and I was really surprised because I thought Chihuahuas would be, I don't know. You know, when you think of Chihuahua, I'm sure you've got your own thoughts as well, but she was super sweet. And I really, really enjoyed looking after this little dog. So I made her a jacket because some of the things that I wanted to make for my Christmas presents for my family was going to be quilted. I was just wanting to extend my sewing skills like that. And so I thought, okay, I'll practice. I'll make a little dog jacket and then I'll get into the other quilting projects. So I made her this jacket and it looks so cute. And her mum was very happy with the jacket, so that was nice. I'm actually looking after, I've got a little dog here, my other colleague's dog, just for the next 10 days over the Chinese New Year. So he's gone back to see some family, and it's little King Charles, so I want to make a jacket maybe for him if hopefully I have time, and I want to make one as well for my dad for his gorgeous cavoodle. So I think they'd be roughly the similar size. So I'll base the sizing off of this King Charles. He's super cute, and yeah, I'll make that for my dad too. But that's next projects. For my mum, which was the initial, okay, I want to make something quilted for her. I made a heart bag by Etta patterns. And to be honest, I probably bit off more than I could chew. This was it's quite a long process. Oh, I've just realized, okay. Anyway, I think there was another present that I made that I did forget about to write down here. So I've made 15 things and 11 gifts. But so for my mum, it was a lot of single strips. I think I made them about 1 inch and then 2 inches. A lot of sewing and making them all into squares to have this interesting pattern. I will put an example of the pattern stitched together here as well as the finished object. But it's not that it was overly difficult. It wasn't super easy to line everything up, and it was easy to make mistakes, and that I did at one point, rather than have a certain color be in the smaller section when I did the 4 squares, it was the other way around, and it wasn't that noticeable. Like, it really didn't impact it that much, and only I would probably have noticed the difference. But yeah, so it was just a lot to do towards the end of Christmas, so that was a little bit intense. Then I made, again with some strips, so I didn't hear the one that I forgot about, is for my sister's partner. I made him some mittens because he's the real cook of that household. I made him some mittens based on his football team. So he's a real he's a real Melbourne Demons fan. I think it's Melbourne Demons. Anyway, so it's red and like a navy dark blue. And I did that in strips and made it diagonal for 2 oven mitts. And he seemed to really like those, so I hope he's getting good use out of them. And I just drafted that pattern. I think I was a bit lazy I'm sure there was free patterns online. I was just too lazy to go to Officeworks and print out the pattern. So I just took my hand, made it a little bit bigger, and then sort of sketched a rough mitten shape. And it was pretty difficult with all the quilting and the stuffing as well. Like, I did it with the batting inside for all of these, the jackets, the bags, and the mittens. I stacked in, I think, 4 layers so that it was going to be good for the heat. And it was quite difficult to get around the thumb and to pull it out. So there was a bit of hand stitching, hand fixing it up after I'd finished sewing it all together, because it's kind of like split open at some of the seams because I didn't catch all of the fabric. So it wasn't super easy to get all that out. And then I was using my drumsticks my knitting as well, my knitting needles to push out the fabric for the thumb. That was a bit difficult to get out the right way. Okay, 4 more things to talk about. For my brother and his girlfriend for Christmas, I made them some fish bags, like fanny packs. The pattern is Fish Fanny Pack by Stitch by Brina. There was 2 patterns that I was considering for this. There's one really cool fish bag pattern that I really liked, but it was like $30 for the pattern versus this one, I think it was 10. And ultimately I just thought, it's pretty, sure I could figure something else out or adapt some of the shapes from this other one with the base being this fanny pack. So probably not the best pricing for the other one, because when there's alternatives, even if they're not as quirky and interesting, I feel like, I did, especially since it was a gift, I was doing a couple of gifts, I wanted to maybe reduce the cost of the pattern overhead. Anyway, so I was going to I went to a few like Salvos or secondhand stores and bought some men's shirts because I didn't really have patterns that I thought would work well for them. So I've bought some men's shirts and I've started cutting them up. It works really well for quilting, especially those small patchwork projects that you don't need huge amounts for. I just went and bought a lot of shirts, so I've got plenty of fabric to make as many quilted gifts as I could ever want out of the fabrics that I bought, and it was quite fun to patch them all together. So I made them 2 fish bags. I don't have the greatest photo, it's just low lighting, but they did turn out really good. And yeah, I thought that would be nice for them to have. They go to festivals and then they can stuff in whatever they need to stuff into those bags, and that was the idea. And then they have a cute matching but not matching bag, and I sewed in my little label into the inside, it says handmade with love by Zoe. The last thing I made for my gran and for my dad and his girlfriend, I just made a hot pot holder for both of them, just a flat square out of the quilted fabric, and I don't have photos for these unfortunately, but I do have the inspo of I went with a relatively simple half square triangle design, put 4 of them together, and this was being finished on Christmas Eve. It was a bit of it was a bit hectic, and I was hosting anyway, so it always comes down to the line for the Christmas presents, and my grand's was more floral and more ladylike, I guess. The one that I made for my dad and his girlfriend was, my dad goes for Carlton and she goes for St Kilda. These are the Australian football teams. So St Kilda is my team also, and it is white, red and black. White, red and black. My dad's team is Carlton, so it's white and dark blue. So I've kind of used the dark blue in place of the black for St Kilda, and on one side of the pattern I put white and blue as the triangles, and then I did a red border, so that had all the sort of colours there to indicate both football teams. And then on the other side I just had a nice, I think it was primarily red fabric. So that is the last of the things that I made in 2025. And yeah, I would love if you tell me what you liked most, if you have any recommendations for 2026, if you also struggle to make things on time for people and set too many deadlines for yourself. Something I would like to improve this year, just giving myself ahead of time, a long time ahead of time, or just perhaps not making everything for everyone. I feel like my sister probably deserves something this year, so I'll have to think about that. But her birthday, we're twins, so same as mine, it's October, I've got some time. But yeah, let me know what you thought of today's video and this wrap up. I was very surprised by in the end, 11 gifts that I made versus 4 garments for myself. I do like gift giving a lot and making things for people, especially when they appreciate it. I would say that one of the reasons why I haven't made my sister too many things is that she doesn't tend to, she's not exactly someone that always goes, oh wow, you made something for me. Anyway, so, but I would like to make her a few more things. I've made her some things in the past and she has enjoyed those, so yeah, I'll have to think about what to make her. But thank you for watching. Wishing you a good afternoon, evening. Yeah, thanks for spending this time with me. I'll see you later. Bye.